welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a Instagram Q&A because a lot of you guys ask me for girl talk videos, and to be honest, I can't think of a topic that I haven't touched already. I feel like in the past 10 years of doing YouTube, I've talked about everything. I mean, we talk about vaginas, we talk about periods, our mans, losing our virginity. Like, I literally feel like I've covered every topic as far as girl talk goes, but if there's anything that I haven't covered yet, please let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, I just really want to talk to you guys, and I don't really know exactly what topic to talk about, so I thought, why not just do an Instagram Q&A where you guys can send in your questions. First question comes from Ladit, and she asked, how do you manage your time and your stress? I have to say, I think I'm a person who have become very terrible with time. When I was in college, I feel like I had the best time management because I'm someone that really thrives off of having a schedule, and because I knew exactly which days I had class, I was able to kind of space out exactly when I would do what oh, excuse me, when I would do what and how I would just manage my time. The more I'm getting older, the more I feel like my memory is getting bad, and the more I'm just like I'm very scatterbrained. I would think about one thing and I would try to focus in on it, but then I would start thinking about other things. I will say at this point in my life, I'm not the best at time managing, and I want to work at it and I want to get better at it. So I don't exactly have the best advice for you at this point because that's what I'm still working on. But I think one thing about time managing that was in a way effective for me back in college was just knowing exactly what my week was going to look like. Maybe just start by having a calendar or whatever method that works for you. Some people thrive off of having reminders on their phone. Some people just like to put it in their calendar and they're really good about checking their calendars every day. And then there are some people who I would say I kind of fall in that category where I thrive off of having something like in front of me. Whether that just be scribbled down in a notepad or just like somewhere on my fridge, I find that that helps me with just going through things because I just check things off the list. So I would say maybe give that a try. And as far as dealing with stress, I would say I'm a pretty good I would say I'm pretty good at dealing with stress at this point in my life because I've had quite a lot of stressful events happen, and I think many of us have, and it's just about finding that balance on how you can drive yourself back to happiness when you're feeling stressed. No one's perfect, and I'm not perfect, and I have moments where I'm so stressed that I literally am ready to kill somebody that comes along in my way. I actually read this in a book before where the author was suggesting that whenever you get in an argument with somebody and you're just so focused in on like, oh, I should have said this, oh, I'm about to say this, and you get so caught up in those negative thoughts, what you have to do is catch yourself in that moment and snap out of it. So whenever I'm getting stressed, I recognize that I'm in that level, like I'm in that level of stress, and I try to say just random things in my brain. I would seriously just be like, la 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 la. And I know that sounds really, really stupid, and it sounds stupid when I do it too, but it is a great way for me that I found that works, where it just distracts my brain. And once I distract myself from those negative trains of thoughts, I start to feel a little more relieved, and I start to be able to focus on other things, such as what's ahead of me or just like something else other than what I was stressed about. But that's just one thing on how I manage stress, and I feel like I can go in on a video. Actually, maybe I'll make a video about how I manage stress. But in a nutshell, I feel like what helps a lot with stress is just distracting your mind off of what you're stressed about. And you kind of have to just keep practicing and seeing what works for you, like what is something that will be able to take you out of that zone, and just go take a breather and focus on other things for a little bit, and then when you have a clear mind and a clear head, then get back to what you were working on. Next question is from Giselle Rangel 99, and she asked, there are ways that we can all better ourselves. In your opinion, what are things most people, including yourself, could work on to become the best version of themselves? Oh my god, this is such a good question because this is something that I think about every single day. Like, how can I be a better person today than I was yesterday? I find that when I humble myself and just think of myself as this tiny little ant in a way, like just really think of myself as this really small being in this huge universe. I think the way our brain works, we're just constantly focused on ourselves and our feelings and our goals and what we want. And sometimes when you get too caught up in that, I think it brings out that selfish side of you. And being a selfish person is okay. Like, I think it's important to be selfish sometimes and take care of yourself. But when you're too focused on that and that's what you're all about, I think in a way, I feel like that is you making yourself the worst version of yourself. Does that make sense? So when you do things or just have thoughts of humbling yourself, where you're seeing yourself as this tiny being in this huge universe, you'll start to think a little bit more of, okay, what is my purpose? You will start noticing things outside of yourself. And I think when you finally reach that point in your life where you're able to do that, where you're just not so focused on just yourself and what you want, then you can better yourself, then you can make yourself a better person. But yeah, when I find myself just really remove myself out of my own thoughts and just my own body, and I really think about what is my purpose here on this earth and what type of message or like what type of influence or impact I want to have on this world, that is when I could truly think about how can I be the best I can be to be a good contribution to society. Does that make sense? Like, I know that's like, it's really deep, but if you have time, just really think about that and see what it does for you. Question is from That Kid Marina, and she asked, have you ever experienced a pregnancy scare? Like, even knowing you and Wall take all the precautions, did you ever think for a second you were pregnant? Yes, sister. I've definitely had many of those, but I think as I'm getting older and for how many years I've been taking birth control, I really do have a grasp of my menstrual cycle. So nowadays I always get my period on the third sugar pill day, versus before sometimes I don't get my period until like the 5th day, and then I would just have my period for 2 days and then that's it. So I will say at this point in my life I hardly get the pregnancy scare and stuff because I am very, very cautious and I do all the precautions. So I don't have them as much now, but when I first started birth control and things like that, it was just like irregular in a way. And at that point in my life, yes, I was always like, is I pregnant? Next question is from AXBs, and she asked, how do you keep the fur babies smelling fresh and how often do you bathe them? I will say I am very good about keeping my babies clean. Like, I'm just that type of person where once they go outside to the backyard and they come back in, I have to wipe them down, and I'm just really good about keeping my dogs clean, but I'm not very good about keeping myself clean. Some tips I have for you is definitely wiping them down. Anytime they go outside, they bring in so much like dirt and mud or whatever it may be. Always wipe them. Even if it's just your backyard, wipe them. So I have 3 dogs and they're all very different. I don't always shower them on the same day. There's not ever like a set bath day for all of them. It's just whenever one is dirtier than the other. So for Michi, because she's a Shiba, and I think a lot of Spitz dog owners understand this, their coat is very, very nice. It repels like dirt and it's just so easy to keep clean. So with Michi, we give her a bath maybe once every 2 months. Sometimes we can even go 3 months with her. We just brush her out and we'll wipe her down with a wet towel and she's fresh again. So we'll do those refreshers for her like every 3 weeks or so. But as far as like a bath, we give Michi a bath, yeah, once every 2 months or so. Navi is a little easier to keep clean as well because she is part of the Spitz family and her coat is just really easy to clean. When you wipe her down with a towel, the dirt just comes right off. I know some pet owners are really like, like stop bathing your dogs. It's bad for their skin. And I'm not trying to discredit you. Like, maybe you are right, but I know my dogs best and I've had them for so many years that I just know what's best and what works for them. So for Navi, anyways, Navi, I wash her every like 3 to 4 weeks, depending on how dirty she gets. And of course, I wipe her down every time she goes out. But with Money, I would give her a bath every 2.5 to 3 weeks because she has a really, really oily coat and she's always been that way. So whenever she eats, her fur or hair is the type to really cling on to dirt. Even though I try to wipe her down, it just clings onto her. So she has to get bathed more often. Otherwise, she will just smell really bad and I just feel like she's uncomfortable. But I also just use a really mild dog shampoo. I use Earth Bath. You can find it at, I'm pretty sure most pet stores have it. I get mine at PetSmart and I think it works great for them and it keeps them fresh. It doesn't irritate their skin. They're doing good. The last question I want to answer comes from Rosa F. Jin, and she asked, hi Weylie, I'm always complaining about my monolids. Would you recommend someone to get the double eyelid eyes? I saw some new techniques that do not require surgery. Okay, so monolids, you guys. I feel like I think about my monolids every day. Like every morning when I look into the mirror, I notice how uneven my eyelids are. So I have a double lid on this side and I have a single monolid on this side. So this eyelid tends to droop down a little more and sometimes I feel like I have a lazy eye, but it's just the way my eyes are shaped. And I feel like as I'm getting older, the more it's standing out to me. I don't remember feeling this strongly or seeing it this strongly back in college or high school. But yeah, the past 2 years, every time I look in the mirror, I'll be like, ooh girl, your eyelid. With eyelid, I could honestly say, and I'm not even wearing eye makeup today, like this is how comfortable I've gotten with my monolids, and I embrace them so much. And for all of you guys out there who have monolids, or actually whatever the shape of your eyes are, and if you're not happy with it, please don't feel that way. Like seriously, there's no reason for you to not like your eyes. Of course, I think it's very natural, and I do it too, where I look at other people and I would think, oh my god, that's so pretty, I wish I had that. But it's one thing to look at something and be like, oh, that's really pretty, and one thing to look at it and beat yourself up about it. If at the end of the day you feel like double eyelid surgery is what you have to do and that's what's gonna make you happy, then go for it. You know, I'm not someone who's against surgery or anything like that. I feel like it's your body and it's really your choice, whatever you want to do with it, and you have one life. If that is something that's going to change how you feel about yourself and you're just going to be a happier person at the end of the day, then why not, you know? And I know some of y'all gonna argue with that, but that is just my stand on plastic surgery. But I will say, if you are my sister and you come to me and was like, Weylie, I really just don't like my eyes, I will do anything in my power to try to convince you or help you find a way to love your eyes before you make the decision to get surgery. She also said, I saw some new techniques that do not require surgery, which, I mean, I've heard of like eyelid tape and things like that, but I think that's also very just temporary. I think Asian women or people with monolids just take such a huge hit by society. I remember growing up thinking my eyes were so ugly and that I just did not like them, because in the media it's all about girls with big eyes, girls with like a really deep set, just sexy, sultry looking eyes. And I remember looking at mine thinking mine are really, really plain. But at this point in my life, I have really, really learned and got really, really comfortable with just my eyes. You have to try and find the beauty in yourself, really. I think that should be a goal for everyone. Like, so many of us set goals about, oh, I need to make this amount of money when I reach this age, or I need to have this house by this time of my life. What about setting a goal for, I need to truly accept and love myself? Like, that should be a goal that we set. For example, if you're raising a child and every day you're telling this child, you're really ugly. Okay, that's fucked up, but what if, okay? What if every day you're telling this child, you're really ugly, you have nothing going for yourself, you'll never be successful? That child is gonna grow up to believe that. But if you had a child and every day you told that kid, you are beautiful, you're gonna be so successful, you are so loved, I love you so much, that child is going to grow up feeling very loved and nurtured. So picture that child as yourself. If every day you're just beating yourself up, you are going to believe those thoughts. You're gonna truly think that is the truth. So why not try nurturing yourself more? Every day tell yourself, you look good, girl. You look great and you're doing just fine. If you would just use those mentalities and put those thoughts in your head every day instead of the negative thoughts, one day you will believe things that you're telling yourself. But until you just take that step to start complimenting yourself instead of putting yourself down, you'll never reach that point. So like I said, set a goal for yourself. Set a goal saying, maybe by the end of this year or by this summer, I want to truly be confident in myself. I want to truly be in touch with my inner self, my inner soul, and feel good about who I am. All right, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had so much fun, and in a way I feel a lot more connected with you guys right now because I got to just really spill my heart out into these questions, and I hope that it helps you and I hope that it inspires you to be more positive today. So that is all. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.